What's up, guys? It is Sunday, and finally ready to get back on the CD collection and continue marching on through these albums. I did take a few weeks off, but I'm ready to get back on it, and I'm sure you guys have been waiting and ready to continue marching on through the CD collection. So that's what we're going to do today. Still in the M section. First up, we have a split CD. This is entitled "Metal Wolves of Death." It features two Russian black metal bands. I don't own anything from anything else from either one of these bands, so I just kind of keep this filed in the M section with the Metal Wolves of Death. The two projects on this are Ovdelir and Lindisfarne. Yeah, butchered that, I'm sure. Pretty aggressive style black metal going on through both projects on this. I did find it enjoyable. I don't know why. I'm usually averse to picking up splits. I still have not figured out why that is, but this one's pretty good. At some point, I'll probably look out for some of the material from the other two bands if I can find it. I know this split's been out for years now. I think see if I can see it, 2010, so some of their stuff might be a little harder to come by now. Next up, we have I believe this band's out of Germany, kind of thrash. It's like a mix of thrash metal, traditional heavy metal, some speed metal going on. This is Metallium. This is chapter 6, so this is pretty far along in their discography. Got this and the one that I'll show next in a Crash Music CD lot several years ago. Unfortunately, I think the two albums that I have from Metallium are probably their two weakest full lengths, and I can understand that. That's what I've heard. Neither one of these have kind of made me want to go seek out more of their material. At this point, they just kind of sit in the collection. I have not listened to Chapter 6 or Chapter 7, this one, in quite some time. Seemed like it was, from what I remember, just kind of run-of-the-mill, kind of speedy thrash / traditional heavy. I don't know. I might have to go back and revisit at some point, and if I still am not super big on this, I might be able to find someone to rehome it to. But at this point, they've been in the collection so long that I almost hate to get rid of them, because I've had those long before I even started doing YouTube videos. Next up, very underground band. I don't know if you guys have heard them. We have Metallica. This is Ride the Lightning, their second full length. This is just a little Walmart reissue that comes in the little cheap fold out cardboard sleeve. I'm not going to pull the disc out of it for fear of scratching it up. Very good. Probably my second favorite Metallica album. I don't have Kill 'Em All on CD format. I do have it on vinyl. My Metallica CD portion of the collection is a little bit lacking. You guys will see I do own several of their albums on vinyl, though. So then we have probably my favorite Metallica release. This is Master of Puppets. Disposable Heroes, track number 5, is my favorite Metallica song. This is another one of those Walmart cheap little $5 reissues. I know Metallica, they're super influential as far as heavy metal goes, but it's just not a band that I tend to. There's so much other stuff that I would rather listen to. It almost seems blasphemous when you're speaking of heavy metal and you say that about Metallica, but it's just the case. I mean, I can respect everything they've done, but it's just there's other stuff I tend to gravitate more towards. Here we have the self-titled. Obviously, you're just going to get glare off of that. You're not going to be able to see that artwork on it at all. The Black Album. My son actually bought me this one for Christmas one year, and not too long ago, and I did not have a copy of it for that long. So, and then I have Garage Inc. I got this at a thrift shop. I don't know if you can see the price tag on it. I doubt that's going to focus, but I got this for 50 cents. So yeah, it was worth 50 cents. Wouldn't pay just too much more than that for it, but it was worth the 50 cents. Has a little bit of water damage going on, as you can see there on the inserts, but it is what it is. And then everybody's favorite, we have Saint Anger. I got this at Goodwill. Got it for next to nothing as well. So at that price, I was like, I don't have it in the collection. I think it was like 99 cents. So I was like, I can add that into the collection for 99 cents. It is the version that comes with the DVD. Have not watched that. Probably will not watch that. But that's all I've got as far as Metallica CDs. I do have the newest CD, the newest album that came out, but it's filed with my 2023 releases, so it won't be in this video. I did find that one to be pretty enjoyable, especially as far as newer Metallica stuff goes. That new album, I did enjoy it quite a bit. Next up, I just have a burned copy. I think my buddy Andrew sent me this one, trying to get me to start picking up stuff from this band. It's all I own from them. It's a Magla, I believe that's how you pronounce that, with Hearts Towards None. Pretty good black metal. I know some of you are ride or die for that band, and eventually it'll probably click with me. I do like what I've heard, okay, just not to the point where I've picked up anything from them. At some point, it'll probably finally just click in my head that I want to start grabbing their stuff, and I'll have to pay a small fortune to get all of the stuff that they've put out. Next up, we have Michael Schenker. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Michael Schenkerfest. Pretty fun album. I did a fairly large purchase from I think it was an eBay seller, and they did combined shipping. So I was going through, and some of the stuff I just kind of blind bought, and this was one that I picked up. This one is entitled Revelation. It's pretty fun. It's some older dudes, from what I can kind of gather. It's like, for me, the sound that this puts out is like some older musicians getting together, jamming, and they're still rocking it out. And it's a fun album. I enjoy this quite a bit. They're all super talented. I think he brings in like guest singers and other guest musicians on each track as well. But it's a fun release. There were some tracks on here that I did enjoy. The very first track on this, Rock Steady, you listen to that one and you will know exactly what I'm talking about, just like those guys getting together and kind of jamming it out. Next up, we have some symphonic folk metal, I guess is the best way to put this band. This is Midnattsal with Nordalis. This is my favorite release from this band. This is before, I know Liv Christine. Some of you know her from like Leaves' Eyes and some solo stuff that she's done. She's a part of this project now. At this point, she was not. This was put out in 2008. I think she's only been a part of the band for their latest full length. But Carmen Elise Espanes, probably butchered that, is the main vocalist on this. There's a guy that comes in as well with the like kind of growls and stuff here and there. Good album. This is probably my favorite of their discography. If you were going to check out this band, this would be the one that I would say to start with. It was released in 2008 on Napalm Records. I also picked up the follow-up to that one. It is pretty good as well. This one is entitled The Metamorphosis Melody. This one's solid as well. A bit more melodic. I guess you could even gather that from the name. But they're both, I mean, they're both super melodic albums. It's just a melodic project in general. But if you're into symphonic, kind of folky, symphonic metal, folk metal, I think you'll dig this. These are the kind of 2 of the 4 full lengths that they have out that I would highly recommend. The debut is kind of so-so, and then the latest, even though I do love Liv Christine, it didn't really click with me the way that I thought it would. Next up, we have some traditional heavy metal. This is a band, I believe they're out of Chicago. This is the EP entitled Hypnotized from Midnight Dice. This is some female-fronted traditional heavy metal. Pretty fun stuff. I believe Shadow Kingdom put this at. No, this was Underground Power. It sounds a lot like some of the stuff that you would hear on Shadow Kingdom records, to the point that I did think that was the label that had put this out. I do like this quite a bit. I enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to, and it stayed in kind of heavy rotation. It's only, I think, 5 tracks, but they're all pretty rocking tracks. So definitely check out some Midnight Dice if you have not done so. Next up, we have some atmospheric black metal. Kind of, I guess it's more of like an ambient style, spacey, atmospheric black metal. This is Midnight Odyssey with Funerals from the Astral Fear. This is a 2-disc set. It took me a while to get my hands on this. It was expensive. When I did grab it, it's a little bit more accessible now. It has the slip case, but the slip case has the exact same artwork on it. Very good. It's the only release from Midnight Odyssey that I currently own. Some of their stuff is just super pricey to pick up here in the U.S. I did go ahead and float the bill and pick this up back in the day because it is my favorite release from them. I still love this album. Just very atmospheric style, ambient style of black metal, and I do highly recommend that one. Next up, we have some Greek Gothic blackened death metal is the best way I know to put this. This is Midnight Scream with their I guess only full length, entitled The Evil Her. I did like this quite a bit. This came out early 2000s, probably around 2003, 2002, 2003. I don't know. I don't see a date on this, but if I had to guess, that's about the time period that this came out. I dig it. Unfortunately, it's the only release that they ever put out. The band is split up at this point, so if you listen to this and you like it and pick it up, want to hear something else, unfortunately, like me, you're out of luck. But I do recommend this one, especially if you're into blackened death metal. It does get a little gothy feeling at times, so just be prepared for that as well. Next up, I believe this band is out of Florida. This is Midnight Spell with their demo entitled Between the Eyes. This is fun. This is only a 4-track demo. But the tracks Between the Eyes is fun, and To the Stars is probably my favorite track on this little demo. This came out in 2019. It was a blind buy purchase for me on Bandcamp at the time, and I absolutely fell in love with the band. There we go. There's the actual disc. A little bit hard to come by that. I believe that demo is sold out, but you can still pick up the full length that came out in probably 2020, 2021. This is Sky Destroyer. Absolutely love this full length. It has some of those, like Between the Eyes is on this. The title track, Sky Destroyer, that one's fun. Lady of the Moonlight, I like that one as well. Headbang Till Death, I mean, you just get that in your face, catchy, straightforward. I mean, this is like a homage to the heavy metal days gone by, but I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, they have recently parted ways with their singer, and the singer was one of the strongest parts of this band. The vocal range that he had going on this album. I am very curious to see where they go from here, because the band is still together. I'm sure they'll pick up a new singer, and I'm kind of curious to see where they go from there. Next up, I have a couple of albums that I picked up during the brief time period that I was living in Virginia. I believe I got these at FYE. I guess this is kind of like early dungeon synth, maybe. I don't know the best way to put this. Very atmospheric. Very good for this time of the year. It has that kind of Halloween-y feel going on. This is Midnight Syndicate with Born of the Night. This came out in the late 90s, probably 98 if I had to guess. I mean, it's good as far as what it is. I mean, it's just something I like to throw on to build an atmosphere in the background kind of deal. If you're into that dungeon synthy type stuff, you might like this. I'm not the biggest dungeon synth person, so I mean, it could be completely way off from dungeon synth and be a whole different genre, but you know what, that's okay. Next up, we have Realm of Shadows from the same band. So it was filed in this came out in 2000. When I picked it up, it was filed with the metal section in the used bin, so I grabbed it. I thought it looked interesting, and it was very kind of atmospheric, spacey sounding. Not really spacey, but you know what I'm going for there. Next up, a band that I saw open for the band Anvil, and I was blown away by these guys. This is Midnight Hellion with I believe this is their debut full length, entitled Condemned to Hell. This one's pretty fun. It came out in 2017, and these guys have come a long way since 2017. This is hand numbered. You probably won't be able to pick it up there on the camera, but just in case you can, it's number 387 out of 700. I like this one. I like the follow up, I think, a little bit more, but this one is fun, especially since I got to see some of these tracks performed live. Teenage Blood Sucking Bimbos is a funny track. Cross the Line, that was one that was a very good track to see performed live. And then I have the follow up entitled Kingdom Immortal. I am all about this album. I definitely recommend checking this out if you're into kind of thrashy sounding, throwback sounding traditional heavy metal. Then definitely check out Midnight Hellion, and this would be the album that I would say to go with. Like the track She Demon, that's a good one to start out with. Rapscallion's fun. For me, I would just say just play that whole album. Next up, we have some, I guess, kind of pagan epic black metal. It has like this pagan feel going on as well. This is Midwinter with Four Seasons of Frost. I believe this is their debut EP. They had a full length that came out after this that unfortunately I don't have. I would like to pick that up at some point. This has been out for quite some time. It came out in 2007. You know these guys are true cult because they spell winter with a Y instead of an I. But yeah, this is Midwinter. I forget where I picked this up from. Probably on Hell's Headbangers or from Pagan Flames, one of the two. If I had to guess, I'm sure it probably came from one of those two distros or labels. But pretty good. I do like that, and at some point I would like to hunt down that full length. My nose is itching like crazy. I don't know what's going on here. I'm getting old, so I probably have one of them really long nose hairs that's tickling my mustache there or something. I don't know what's going on. Next up, we have a release that did not get as much attention as I thought it should have. It came out in 2021. It was the debut EP from these guys, and I absolutely love this. And I'm not the biggest thrash person, but I was blown away by this. This is Militia with Nightmares in the Church. I believe this band is out of Hungary. I found this on Bandcamp, just kind of looking for new stuff to listen to. And it just sounds, to me, this sounds like it was recorded in a cathedral. And it is very blasphemous stuff going on, but it is a great thrash metal release. If you have not checked this one out and you consider yourself a thrash metal person, I would definitely highly urge you to check out Nightmares in the Church. I think you guys will dig it as well, as much as I did. I probably dropped the ball on this one a little bit as well, just because I haven't been doing the videos like I was back in the day with the 7 Deadly Spins and all of that. I was highlighting underground stuff and new stuff, and I've kind of dropped the ball as of late on doing that. So I'm partially to blame for that one not being showcased as much as it should. Next up, I have some metalcore, kind of progressive metalcore. This one, it just kind of sits on the shelf at this point. I haven't listened to it in quite some time. This is a band out of Texas, I believe. This is a Milestone with The Process of Progress. This is their debut. I believe they have one other release that followed this up. I have not checked that one out yet. It's progressive, like a progressive style of metalcore, so take that for what it's worth. Next up, this one's pretty neat. This is a Milwaukee Metal Fest 11 promo CD. This came out back in 1997, and it's pretty interesting to see some of the bands that they have listed here for Milwaukee Metal Fest. It's awesome to have bands like Creator and Oppressor and Morta Skuld, Apoc of Unlight. Those are on the same compilation as like a Skin Lab and a Snapcase. It's pretty interesting little promo, and it's kind of, you feel the weight of the times there. I mean, it's 1997. We all have some Skin Labs in our closet. I do have Skin Lab in the collection. For what it's worth, you guys will see it when we get to the S's. But I dig this little promo CD here quite a bit. It kind of throws me right head first back into high school, because in my head in high school I remember seeing this stuff for like in the metal magazines and that type stuff for Milwaukee Metal Fest. That was always a goal to go, and unfortunately I did not ever make it. Next up, we have some metalcore, some more metalcore. This is Minded Fury with their EP entitled Exhausted. This I dig. It kind of leans more to like a hardcore sound as opposed to metalcore, but the metalcore stuff is in this as well. Pretty solid little 4-track EP. Kind of hard to come by now, bit pricey. If you find it used, usually somebody's asking too much, especially for it just being a CDR. Like it has that little fake vinyl looking CD in there. When I first got it, I thought maybe I got ripped off and they had, who I'd bought it from had just put that CDR in there and kept the original CD, but that's what they came with. So next up, we have some grindcore. I believe this band is out of Germany. This is Mind Flare with Stagnation. This is a in-your-face, this will pummel you to death. It was released on Bones Brigade. I think it's kind of early to mid-2000s grindcore. Gets a little death grindy at times, but it is an all-out assault. Absolutely love this release. Picked it up not too long ago on eBay. I found it. Somebody was selling this pretty cheap, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Been getting into some more grindcore lately, thanks to Wise Grinds records out of Memphis. They've kind of reignited that thirst for some grind in the collection. Next up, man, I'm going to have to, after this video, I'm going to stop and just try to pick up this band's previous 2 albums, because this band is much better than you would ever expect looking at this album cover. Don't you guys go like running to buy the cheap copies off of like Discogs and eBay before I get a chance to go pick up their first 2 albums, because I've been telling myself that for years. I kind of forgot, and now doing this video just cost me some money because I remembered. This is some brutal death metal, kind of technical brutal death metal out of Colombia. This is Mindly Rotten. I believe this is their last full length that came out in 2013, entitled Effacing the Origin. Just looking at that, you wouldn't expect too much out of this album, and it is a monster brutal death metal release. This was released on Coyote Records, or Coyote Records, however you choose to pronounce that. But definitely, just looking at it, I'm remembering how much of a ripper that this album is, and I want to go pick up, especially that debut. If I can find that debut full length, I definitely want that in the collection. But the follow-up to that was stellar as well. And then this being the third full length, this one is an essential pickup as well. So if you're into brutal death metal, definitely go check out some Mindly Rotten. I believe this was actually a reissue, because it's saying 2013 on this, and it's got the Severed Records logo on the back as well. I believe initially this came out in 2011, and maybe this was a 2013 reissue. I could be completely wrong on that, but I know for a fact that they have 2 prior full lengths, and I had told myself at one point to go pick those up. So after this video, I'm going. So I'm going to give you guys a second. You can watch it, and then I'm going to pick them up as soon as I have a chance. Next up, we have some Death Doom. This is Mind Rot with their EP entitled Forlorn. Only 3 tracks. This was released on Relapse Records. I believe this is probably like some Relapse promo, because it has the hole punch back there in the barcode. Either that or somebody got it in a Relapse grab bag way back, because a lot of times those grab bags have the hole punches in the barcode. Very melodic style of death doom metal. I dig this quite a bit. It's only 3 tracks, but it has a pretty decent run time as far as the time on this, as doomy type stuff tends to do. This is another one I want to go pick up some stuff from. I did like this quite a bit. Got this on eBay. It's been a little while. It was probably right before I bought this house, because I remember that not being packed up with the stuff that I had to move. Next up is a kind of thrash. It's got some death metal elements going on in this as well. Got this out of Metalhead Box. This is Mindwork with Eteria. It's pretty good. Probably would not have picked this up on just to pick it up on my own, but sometimes Metalhead Box, you get some stuff like that, then add it to the collection that you never would have listened to otherwise. It is a decent release. Came out on Dive Bomb Records. As I said, it's very thrashy. Probably leans more into the thrash metal realm than the death metal realm, but the death metal elements are very present on this. At the time, I really wasn't in a thrash metal mindset, so I might need to go back and revisit this. I might be able to appreciate it a little bit more now, because I believe it came out and I received it in one of those earlier Metalhead boxes that I picked up. The last two albums that I'll show you, and I'll quit keeping you guys here. I've been a little long-winded on this one. Both from the same band. This is a Swiss folk / death metal project. This is Minhuriath. Yeah, I butchered that. This is their full-length entitled Gondolin. Very Tolkien-themed style of folk and death metal. At times it sounds like straight up folk metal, and then at times it sounds like straight up death metal. Super solid release right here. The follow-up to this might be a little better in my opinion, but you can't go wrong with either one of these. The other one is I'm going to try that again. Minhuriath with Grand. And of course, Grand was the battering ram, and with the flaming right there on the cover. Very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. If you haven't heard this, I definitely urge you to check it out, especially if you're into that kind of folky style of death metal. You'll probably dig this. It's all of the material from this band is very Tolkien themed stuff, but I dig both of these. I got those from Redstream several years ago, but that's all for this week. I will try to have another one up next week. Get back on the ball doing these. I still have to show my haul and do my review for Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest. I have this stuff set to the side here and been kind of working my way through it. So hopefully I'll have that up this week or maybe this coming weekend. But that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys very soon. I promise.